Barakatah YAHAWAH, BaHa YAHAWASHI, BaHa RAWCHAA QADASH. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Control. And pretty much this is just something I've been meditating on, dealing with the, pretty much dealing with the money, issuing of money that has taken over the world. Beginning from the meeting in 1910, being made official in 1913, and then being pushed on the world, worldwide, around 1944, 1945, something called the Bretton Woods Agreement, which ended the British pound as being the world reserve currency and enters the FRNs, or the Federal Reserve Notes, or the US dollar, to take over the world finance or economy. And that's where the word control comes into play. Now, when I was doing, I didn't do like no in-depth research. Like I said, I'm not a financial expert. I just know a few things. And, we just deal with the things that are important to prophecy and scripture, and the rest of it, that belongs to those who are into that field, because you have, economic experts out there that go deep into the stock markets, and they can break down all the different numbers on the stock market board, and they could break down a whole lot of different terminologies when it comes down to economy, what makes it float, what makes it, move, and all of this other stuff. We're just here to bring out the points that are needed for prophecy's sake and for the scripture's sake, to break that down, to understand where we're at in prophecy. So with that being said, when we look up the word control, the definition is the power to influence or direct people's behavior or the course of events. And Lord's will, this will set the course for the lesson, because this pretty much says a mouthful. And this is why Maya Amschel Bauer, who later changed his name to Rothschild, and there's a whole history behind that, he said, "Let me issue and control the nation's money, and I care not who writes the laws." Because pretty much whoever controls the money controls everything else, because that is the total control. Remember, the scriptures say, let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 7. And then right after that one, let's go to the same book. Let's go to chapter 10. So let's go back to 7. Ecclesiastes 7 and 12. For wisdom is a defense, and what? And money is a defense. This is a shield against, things, that may be coming or that are coming, in the future. This is what the whole stock market is all about, with the futures, pretty much predicting what the market is going to do and what that particular commodity is going to do, or whatever the case may be in the future. People's nest eggs and all that good stuff, or whatever the case may be. So we look up the word defense, right? Defense. Inside joke. The word there is tazal. This means shadow, shade, shadow on dial. It's a shadow. Pretty much, a defense, something that shades people away from hardships. And that's money. Now, when we look up the term money, in most cases, if not in all, in the Old Testament, the word there is kasap, which means silver, because silver is true money. Silver and gold is true money. All right. And when you look at the Lord's will, I could do it, again, I've done videos on it before. I know Elder Apostle Tara has done videos on it, dealing with the Constitution, and the only thing that is allowed to be money is gold and silver coins. The paper money was added later, with the idea of convenience, so people wouldn't have to carry all that heavy gold and silver with them, and just carry the lighter papers, and then whatever place they would go to, whatever bank they would go to, they would be able to exchange that for the amount of gold or the amount of silver that that particular certificate or that dollar or that bill said that they would, you know, whether it's $1 or $10 or $20 or whatever the case may be, in either silver or gold. All right, because silver is the actual, silver and gold are actual money. There's other things that are considered money, but as far as dealing with, you know, things of value like that, we're just going to deal with the silver and the gold, because you have cattle, you have land, slaves, all of that. But the main two things that were used as two of the main things that were used as money in the past was gold and silver. When we read about our forefather Abraham, he was rich in gold, and I believe it said silver, if I'm not mistaken, you know, but I know it definitely said gold. All right, and when you look at the Constitution, it says that only silver or gold coins are to be minted, you know. And when people look at the term dollar, you know, I need money, you know, money is what I need. Hey, you know, talk about dollars, like if dollars and these FRN notes, whether it's $1, $2, $5, $10, $20, $50, $100, they think that that's real money, and it's not, because the term dollar is nothing more than a unit of measurement. You know, for those of you that are not familiar with it, you know, you may want to check out G. Edward Griffin, you know, the creature from Jekyll Island. You know, he goes into it. And then also there's another one that Elder Apostle Gabar always speaks about, Capitalist Conspiracy, I believe it is. If I'm not mistaken, he goes into it in that also. You know, and pretty much dollar is nothing more than a unit of measurement, no different than an inch, a yard, a quart, you know, a gallon, a liter, a pint, you know, whatever the case may be. THAWADAH, brother, THAWADAH to both of you brothers. This brother and this brother. Genesis 13:2. And Abram was very rich in cattle and silver and in gold. So yeah, so it was both. YAHAWASHI. All right, so that's true money. So true money is a defense to what's coming. G. Edward Griffin. I hope I didn't say the wrong name. You know, because I've been known to do that in times past. So when this devil here, RAWCHAA, said, let me issue and control the nation's money, I care not who writes the laws. This is why they introduced something known as the central bank. Now, there were central banks before the central banks in America. The first central bank was in 1789 or somewhere around 1700s. I can't remember exactly when. I believe it was Hamilton, who was the president at the time, who introduced the first central bank, which was set up pretty much by the Rothschilds. And it had a 20-year, I forget what that's called, 20-year something. And then at the end of that, it would have to either be renewed or get, you know, or be removed. And it was removed. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Then the second one came in, which was the second, you know, central bank. And then you had the third, which was set up with the appearance of a governmental agency, and that's the Federal Reserve. So it says central bank explained. A central bank is a financial institution. It's an institution, a financial institution. And remember, he said, what? Give me control of a nation's money, and I care not who makes the laws. Given privileged control over the production and distribution of money and credit for a nation or a group of nations. And this is exactly what happened. Because through the Federal Reserve, which is a central bank, which is privately owned, it's not a governmental agency. Once that was established, eventually, in process of time, because these devils are patient, like that serpent, you know, it became the standard for trade in the world. Hence, they got a grip on all of these different nations. This is why you have China and Russia and other nations looking to other means of exchange to be able to sell their goods, because the dollars was bogging them down. You know, And seeing that the American dollar is the standard, the world reserve currency, and they have to trade in it, they have to invest in it, buy those dollars, and those dollars are, giving them less of value, less value for themselves, but it's making the dollar strong because they have to trade in those dollars, and that's why they're moving out of it and trying to get rid of it. And this is what these devils have done. They set up a central bank, and that central bank eventually took control of pretty much the whole world through the U.S. dollar, which is the world reserve currency as of right now. It says in modern economies, the central bank is usually responsible for the formulation of monetary policy and the regulation of member banks. So they have control of it, issuing, printing, when the Constitution itself gives Congress the ability to mint their own money. And the term dollar is an expression according to the Constitution. It's not the actual substance. It's an expression. It's a measurement of a unit of measurement. Nothing to do with the actual money itself, except for the weight of it. And this is what most people don't understand. All right. So as we continue on through here, right, it says the Federal Reserve System is the central bank of the United States, founded by an act of Congress in 1913. And because it was founded by an act of Congress, which pretty much was shoved through there under false pretenses through, what's that devil's name? Woodrow Wilson. When it was passed through, they had pushback. They had to take it back and, revamp it, because they knew that big bankers were interested in getting this bill passed. And the people that were vigilant back then didn't want it because they knew that would mean control for these corporations, these financial interests of these individuals. So what they did was, when everybody was leery, wanted to go home, for the so-called Christmas, festivities, and they're in that joyful place, on December 23rd, 1913, that's when they passed it. Because everybody was home doing what they do, and boom, all of a sudden, got it right up in there. The water, brother, yeah, man, I've been wanting to go back and check some of these things out again because I haven't gone through this history in a while. This is the brother Gabar YAHAWAH, the up-and-coming young elder. It says the president, directors, and company of the Bank of the United States, commonly known as the First Bank of the United States, was a national bank. Yeah, that was the first bank. Then you had the second one, chartered for a term of 20 years. Yep, that's it, the charter. The term is charter. 20 years, because that's what a charter is, 20 years. By the United States Congress on February 25th, 1791. Right. And 20 years later, it was done away with, and I believe a second one was established. I don't think they renewed the charter. I think they got rid of this one, and then they started the second one, and then they got rid of the second one. It says no state, here we go. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts. And I believe that's Article 1, Section 10, if I'm not mistaken. One of them is Section 8. Let's see. Yep, and that's that. All right, so it's a whole history behind it, and we're just here just to touch on some of it. So we know that the Federal Reserve System was set up 1913. There's a whole history behind that. And this is the oldest central bank, because prior to the central bank, the Federal Reserve set up in America, you had a central bank in India. So there was another central bank, but it was in India, not America. Then this is the oldest known central bank, which is in Sweden. That's the Sveriges Riksbank. All right. In 1668, the Riksdag, Sweden's parliament, decided to found the Riksdag Standard Bank, the estates of the Realm Bank, which in 1867 received the name Sveriges Riksbank. The Riksbank is thus the world's oldest central bank. All right, that's just a little history, no big deal. All right, so as we move along through here, is the Federal Reserve part of the government? The Federal Reserve banks, with a capital S because there's 12 of them, are not a part of the federal government. See, they're not a part of the federal government. When you look in the yellow pages, you have the yellow pages, you have the white pages, and you have the blue pages. The blue pages are the pages where governmental agencies are located. All right. And the scriptures say, you know, be not ignorant of any matter, small or great, you know. And like I said, this is important because of the economy. And it pertains to prophecy because the economy is going to lead to the MOTB, which is the C-hip. And if this is your cue to exit stage left, then do it at your own leisure. You know, casually just, you know, move along. So it says the Federal Reserve banks are not part of the federal government. So when you look at the yellow pages and you look at the blue pages, the Federal Reserve Bank or the Federal Reserve is not in the blue pages. They are actually in the yellow pages or the white pages, one of the two, because they are a privately owned bank. It has nothing to do with the government. The argument or the point that's been made before is no more federal than Federal Express, you know, or FedEx. All right. So it says, but they exist because of an act of Congress. Their purpose is to serve the public. No, their purpose is to serve the bankers. They exist because of the act of Congress, which was done deceitfully, you know, because when they put it in there, it was set up for the purpose of controlling the nation's money system, eventually getting into play as being a world reserve currency, therefore controlling, you know, the way that money and the wealth would be amassed from all of these different nations. All right. Now, as we scroll down, right, is this the one? No, there was another one, man. Really independent, Federal Reserve employee, government employees, who controls the Federal Reserve, what branch of government, Federal Reserve. Now, there was something else in here, and maybe that was it. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay. All right, so we could leave it there. I think there was something else that had popped up. But the point is that the Federal Reserve banks are not part of the federal government. Now, when we go back to Ecclesiastes, it says, for wisdom is a defense and money is a defense. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it, because the ultimate defense is wisdom. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. While the world is going to be going crazy because of this financial crisis that's going on with the introduction of the MOTB, which is the C-hip, and it's going to put people in a bad situation to accept this, you know, or starve. You know, wisdom, the ones that have it, the elect of the nation of Israel, will protect them, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. All right. And when we move on to Ecclesiastes 10 and 20, I believe it is, it says, a feast is made for laughter, and wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things. Right, because it can get you out of debts and different situations. You can buy what you need to buy, food, whatever the case may be, you know. And that money, which is true money, which is gold and silver. And the young elder Amawan Gabar did a lesson on it. I watched it, but I think I kind of fell asleep because it was late, and I just had it playing in the background. So Lord's will, I get a chance, I can go back and check it out again. Now the word here is aina, which is a different, this might be ainaha, You have aina, you have ainaha. To answer, respond, testify, speak, shout. To answer, respond to, right. To testify, respond as a witness. To make, answer, right. You have a debt, and this debt is for such and so, you know, and it must be paid by such and such, or else it will incur interest on it. So what say ye? What is your answer? I say, well, I have the money here. This is my answer. Boom, boom, boom. Pay the debt and move on. I don't have the money, but I do have cattle. I have this, I have that. Or I have this plot of land here I can give you for an exchange of that. Or eventually what happens is the person has to become a debt slave to pay off that debt. And this is what these devils are using. They're using the Bible when it benefits them, because the scriptures speak about, you know, this particular debt. When we go to Proverbs 22, that's why they got into money lending, because they know that money lending is a key to putting people and countries into debt. And once those people in those countries are in debt, they have to, when they have to pay up, they have to give themselves over eventually to these individuals that control the money system. And that's pretty much what it's all about, because the Great Reset is set up in a digital way for the MOTB, which is the CHIP, and that will be the only way for people to be able to function in this up and coming society that Esau is trying to establish. You know, henceforth putting everyone into slavery. And they know, you know, they're not really so much concerned as collecting the debt that is owed right now, but they know that by having the people in debt, when they introduce this new system, the people will have no other recourse but to actually get involved with the system or be kicked out of the system, because they don't need the money. To be totally honest, even though they're greedy, they can never have enough. They don't need the money. What they want is total control of your body and soul. Inside joke, but it's true. So Proverbs 22:7, it says, the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. The one that borrows, which is pretty much all of us, is servant to the lender. See? So if you're a servant, that means that you're a slave. And if you're a slave, that means that you have to, you know, be under a particular master. And if that particular master wants to put a digital all in you, which he wants to, then the person that wants to continue to function and to be able to get benefits from their slave owner has to comply to the system that is going to be set up by the slave owner, by the master. You see? It's a, you know, it's a really, what's the word I'm looking for? The way it was set up to really catch everybody, you know, in that web. All right, now check this out. Let's go to images. Now, when we look at a dollar bill, right? This one's kind of small, so I don't know if it's gonna come up. Yeah, it's kind of janky, kind of jacked up. Let me see this one. Is this one bigger? Yes, sir. Now, when we go here, right? If you look at this, this is your dollar bill. American dollar bill with Latin writing on it, Egyptian pyramids, no New World Orders, Great Seals. Like, my goodness, what the hell is going on here? Right? In God we trust. Yeah, what God you talking about? You know, you got the 5 stars. I believe there's 13 stars in there. The 5-pointed star, and it's set up in the so-called, you know, Shield of David. You know, which is not the Shield of David, and pretty much that's a representation of these, you know, small hats ruling. You know, it says a pluribus unum, out of many one. Then when you look very closely here, you know, where you see the word dollar, behind that dollar in the background, all throughout the edges of this dollar, you have what? Cobwebs. Because these cobwebs are pretty much what, you know, entangle people into what? Into debt, to be a part of the system. All right. Now, when we go to, Let's see if we can find one. I don't know if this is going to be big enough. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Nice. Now, when you look at here, I don't know if this is going to show up. But when you look at the front of the dollar bill, you know, Bill Clinton, you can't really see it here, but this is a Rothschild shield. And on the left hand, where this little crescent is at, there's an owl sitting right there. You know, because they letting you know that they're pretty much the ones in control. Damn, they done fucked up Bill Clinton. God damn. What they do to Bill Clinton, man? Oh, Billy Blythe. They done busted his ass up. All right, let's see if we can find a better one. A bigger one, actually. Nope. You want to see how big I've gone? Inside joke. Let's see, $1 bill. Here we go. All right, $1 bill. Let's see, what's this one? I'm not sure if this is the one we just saw. This one might just actually show you very good. There we go. As you can see, and if you can't, just type it in yourself. There's a little thing here. It's a little blurry, but that's an owl sitting on the Rothschild shield. These devils are very devious, man. You're going to find that out. But then they say, in God we trust. So pretty much, they're the ones that's in control of the money system. They set up a central bank, which pretty much dictates the policies and the interest and the printing of the money, which Congress already had the power to do. All for total control of the world reserve currency, because that the bottom line is that they're setting up a system in place known as the MOTB in the scriptures, which is the CHIP, and that particular device is going to have all of your information, whether it's financial, criminal, credit, whatever the case may be. It's going to be all medical. It's going to all be in there. And that's how you're going to be able to access this new system through. And this is why they're pushing that digital currency, which today is the 10th, January 10th. In another 5 days, they're going to have that meeting at Davos, which is going to be very interesting, because this is pretty much, going to set the tone, for moving forward with this digital currency. And these devils are moving. Ain't no doubt about it. I wonder if, no, they're moving forward with their agenda, because they know that they have but a short time. But the thing is, when we go to Job, the 5th chapter, right? And the 12th verse, it says, he disappointed the devices of the crafty. Who's the he? The Most High. Disappointeth. Let's look up this word, disappointeth. When you disappoint somebody, like you have a prospect, and you have a champ, the world champion, right? And they're in there boxing. Now the champion, for the most part, is always given, depending on who it is, given the he's gonna win. It's gonna be a landslide on this individual. But then this other individual coming in beats the champ, and he does what? He disappoints the champ, because no one was expecting it. So the Most High, the whole setup that this devil is setting up, people are seeing this system. They're trying to prepare for this system. You have, the Southern Prepper, I believe his name is. You have Dabu 7. You have other individuals, Mike from the Mike and Mario show. From the I forget the name of his show. And all these other individuals that know what's coming. They know about the financial situation. They believe, they say they're Christians. They believe in the Bible, but their whole thing is you got to prep. You got to save money. You got to, stock up on silver and gold. You got to stock up on goods. You got to get out of the cities, this, that, and the other, but they're not looking at what the scriptures are saying. And they say they're Bible believing Christians. The Lord said he's going to disappoint them in the midst of all of what they're doing. Let me hold on to this as it came to mind. Hold on to that. All right, so let's go back. The word disappointed is the word parar, right? To break, frustrate, right? Because they're setting up a system in place where it's going to be frustrated by the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through his son, YAHAWASHI, and the whole system that he's setting up. So they're going to be disappointed. They're going to be, busted up. And eventually what's going to happen is they're going to run into these bomb shelters and try to hide from the Most High Yahweh and from the wrath of the Lamb. Because Yahawashi is coming to get busy. The Most High is going to allow his fury to reign supreme through his beloved son Yahawashi on these devils, on these nations, and on you hardhead, stiff-necked, bonehead Israelites out there, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. The Lord is going to unleash fury through his beloved son Yahawashi on this world to establish the next world. This place was established by violence, and it will go out by violence. Thus, with violence shall our great city Babylon be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. Now, the landmass is still going to be here, but the whole hustle and bustle and the whole, it ain't gonna go down, Lieutenant. It ain't going down like that, Lieutenant. Inside joke. So the Lord is going to break and frustrate and disappoint the devices of the crafty. Who was the crafty? Esau, beginning with their international banking families, which really, those are the craftiest of all. All right. Now, if we look up the word devices, the word is makashibah, which is a compound word. Ma is of or from, and kashab is count, device, think, imagine. See what they think, what they have been planning, what they have been plotting. Said thought, device, invention, plan. See, plan or purpose. And when we look at the back of a dollar bill, right, it says here, annuit coeptes, right, announcing the birth of, or our enterprise has been, established, or something along those lines. And what is this enterprise, or what is this birth, or what is the announcement? Novus Ordo Seclorum, which is the New World Order, which is pretty much what they're trying to establish, and they're in this system of establishing. All right? But this is their plan. This is their plot. Our enterprise has been crowned with success. That's what how Jordan Maxwell broke it down. Our enterprise has been crowned with success. And what is that enterprise? Novus Ordo Seclorum, new order of the age, or the New World Order. All right, you have an Egyptian pyramid, because America is spiritually Egypt, the all-seeing eye of Satan, with the rays coming out of it. This represents the Illuminati, which is Lucifer, Luciferian. This is, this is their whole mindset. This is their whole agenda. They are the wicked. This is why when Yahawashi comes back and destroys them, he's going to say, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How are you falling from this great state that you're in? How are you falling from this financial and this power that you had, and this grip that you had over the whole world? How have you fallen from that? Because the Lord said that the light of the wicked shall be put out. Then on the bottom of it, you have Roman numerals that all add up to 1776. And it's not July 1st, 1776, the so-called Day of Independence. It's May 1st, 1776, the birth of the so-called Illuminati, in Bavaria, Germany, I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a whole history behind this. You see, you have here the serpent, how you have a rattle on the back. And so this whole thing is Elder Apostle Gabar goes into the word talisman. It's a talisman. And there's a whole lot of demonic symbolisms on this and on other bills, and this is what they've been setting up and establishing ever since they came into power. All right. So going back here, so the plans and the purposes of these devils is going to be disappointed, right? So that their hands cannot perform their what? Enterprise. Our enterprise has been crowned with success. Yeah, you have the first part of your enterprise that was crowned with success. but the rest of your enterprise shall not stand. It's like I get a little dramatic sometimes. Please forgive me. I ain't trying to be like Hollywood Nate. So the word there for enterprise is THAWADAH. THAWADAH. It says wisdom, sound knowledge, success, sound or efficient wisdom, adding success, sound efficient wisdom, adding success of the effect of sound wisdom. Here you have the word enterprise. Now let's look up this word enterprise. Enterprise definition. I had a feeling. Definition. Enterprise definition. A project or undertaking, typically one that is difficult or requires effort. A business or a company. Yeah. So it's pretty much a business. It's a project or undertaking. Typically one that is difficult or requires effort. Matter of fact, let me look it up in the etymon line. Let's see what the root word is for enterprise. An undertaking. See? Our enterprise has been crowned with success. This is their undertaking. This is what they've been trying to do, what they've been trying to establish, what they've been trying to set up. Undertaking. A formal pledge or promise to do something. And that's pretty much what they've been doing. You know, this is why that devil said, give me control of a nation's money and I care not who makes the laws. So it says formally also enterprise with a Z, an undertaking, undertake, take in hand, between, entree is between. That's where you get the word enter, between, entree, between. Prendere, to take between, to catch hold of, seize. So that's pretty much what they've been trying to do. They've been trying to seize the world through financial, through the financial system. And this is why the whole central bank was set up, to take control of the monetary system of the world, because they know that by controlling that, they can control everything else that goes on. All of the policy making, all of everything, the whole setup of the system, how it runs, how it operates, how you do business and trade, how you work, how you receive your funds and all of that. These devils been very, very busy little bees on the left-hand side, because the Most High got them working. So the same energy and effort that they have on the left-hand side, the Lord has given us on the right-hand side to push this, the Most High's right-hand agenda. Because the right hand, love, and the left hand, hate. They're fighting against each other. And sometimes it seems like hate has love up against the ropes. But then love comes with an uppercut and knocks out hate. Inside joke. So like that's from that movie. What was that? Do the Right Thing? I embellished a little bit on it, Salakia. All right, so let's go back. So the Lord said that he's going to disappoint the devices of the crafty so that they cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, because the same thing that they're setting up is by the same means that they're going to fall. That's Psalms chapter 7. Nah, brother, you gotta be cool with that, man. Do the right thing. Easy. Nah, I'm joking. Yep, Radio Raheem, that's right. I'm just joking, brother. Don't take it the wrong way. I got them doves hovering over me, so please forgive me. All right, so Psalm 7 and 15. Now start at 14. Behold, he travaileth with iniquity. What does it mean to travail? It's like a woman having a child. She goes to her, her birth pains, right? And she's moving and squirming and in pain and can't wait for that baby to get up out of her. Well, when will she be happy? When that baby's out of her. And this is what these devils are doing. They're travailing like a woman that's pregnant to bring forth the birth of their enterprise. Right? So behold, he travaileth with iniquity and hath conceived mischief. Because that's all they're all about, mischief. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. So they're not going to learn righteousness because they are not set up or established in that way. It says, and brought forth what? Falsehood. What is their falsehood? Their system, their doctrines, their view for the future, which is this dystopian world for everybody else, but a utopian world for them, where they can be comfortable being who they are, the devil. They can be peas with the files. They can be, they can be freaks, bugged out. They could walk around with giraffe heads on top of them. They could do, they could do whatever. Commit all kind of loot. This is the world that they're establishing. When you watch the Hunger Games, what is that all freakism all about? Them people on the stage, representing them. They all got makeup on and kind of crazy looking wigs. They look androgynous. They look all bugged out. This is the world that they want to establish because that's what floats their boat. They're coming from a left-hand energy. They don't come from a right-hand energy. Right-hand energy looks at that and be like, what the fuck is that? Just like left-hand energy looks at what we're doing, what the F is that? It's a total 360 degrees of knowledge of good and evil. See? And most people that go to church do not understand that the Lord himself creates good and evil. All right, it says he made a pit and digged it, right? And what is this pit? This whole system that he's setting up. He digged it. He's establishing it. He's laying the foundation. He's laying the groundwork. He has the infrastructure in place. And is falling into the ditch which he made, because this very thing that he is establishing is going to be his ruin. It's going to be his ruin, his undoing. His mischief shall return upon his own head, see? And his violent dealing shall come down upon his own pate, right? Because this system that he's setting up is predicated upon the murder of a lot of people on the planet in order for him to establish this, to so-called be able to sustain themselves and sustain the planet. Because you have something called the Malthusian theory, I believe it's called, or thesis, or whatever that's called, Malthusian something, and pretty much what he came up with, this dude, whatever his name is, I know it's Malthusian, but I forget the guy's name, is Malthus or something like that. And pretty much he's saying, or he was saying, that the human growth is exponential, meaning they're multiplying rapidly. But the food and the resources are not. They're just going regularly as they normally do. So the human growth is going to far surpass the resources. Henceforth, they got to do something about that. This is why, Gil Bates said that, they have to do a really good job with the V to the scenes. And then that way they could bring down the carbon, whatever footprint down to, zero, by pretty much destroying people with those V's, but that's going to be what's going to come down upon his own pate with violent dealing. Yeah, they're destroying the resource because they're the devil, And if they would teach people how to farm, pretty much they would eliminate the problem of substances running out, because people would be able to be self-sufficient. But they don't want a world that's self-sufficient. They want somebody that's dependent on, the government. Yeah, Thomas Robert Malthus, THAWADAH, brother, elder, FRS. This is where they get the Malthusian theory, I believe it's called. 1766, 1834, was an English cleric, scholar, and influential economist in the fields of political economy and demography, or demographics. The Malthusian trap, also known as the Malthusian population trap, refers to the idea that increased food production as a result of advanced agricultural techniques create higher population levels. Yeah, and pretty much, eventually, the population growth is gonna they're saying that it's gonna far surpass, the resources. And pretty much, the Lord said, "Be fruitful and multiply." So if be fruitful and multiply, the Lord is going to provide, the resources for people to eat, right? But anyways, it says, "I will praise the Lord YAHAWASHI according to his righteousness, and will sing praises to what? To the name of the Lord YAHAWASHI Most High." So going back to, where were we? Job 5:13, it says, "He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong." Because the Most High is going to bring them down. "They meet with darkness in the daytime and grope in the noonday as in the night." What is this? This is dealing with their counsels. This is why the Lord said, "You are wearied in the multitude of your counsels." And they have a plan to destroy the Israelites. That's why it says here, "But he saveth the poor from the sword, and from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty." And who is the mighty? Esau. That's why it says, King David said, "Who will deliver me from this strong city?" Which are the Edomites. Just bear with me 1 second. All right? Because they are the mighty. They're the powerful. They are the sword of the Lord. And, there's a certain amount of jakes that have been numbered to the sword, that have been numbered to Esau's, vicious onslaught that's coming, the time of Jacob's trouble. It said they shall be like madmen, sparing none. All right, so when we go to Job chapter 20, we're going to go straight to the point. Job 20:19, "Because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, because he hath violently taken away an house which he buildeth not. Surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. He shall not save of that which he desired." Right? Because everything that he's done under false pretense, under rape, robbery, murder. It hasn't been done honestly. And this is why it's in James the 5th chapter, it speaks about, "Go to ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you." Because the first part of the weeping and howling is going to be that their enterprise that they worked so hard at, that they connived and murdered so many people to get, that spent so much money and time and energy, and had those hopes and desires. Oh my God, it's coming together. It's going to go down the drain overnight, in 1 hour. It says, "There shall none of his meat be left, therefore shall no man look for his goods." Right? Because his whole system is going to be gone. There's going to be no more benefits that these devils could offer anyone. It says, "In the fullness of his sufficiency," meaning when he is about to sit down, which this is the point that he's at. He's at the fullness of his sufficiency. He's about to really set this new reset, and set up everything the way he wants it. And everything is going according to his plans, but it's really according to the plans of YAHAWASHI. "He shall be in straits." Right? So they're going to be in a position of difficulty. Why? Because they're going to be hit with something that they had no plans for. They weren't planning for it. They weren't expecting it. They didn't know that they were going to get, "You've been struck by a smooth criminal." Salakia. So they're going to get, the king of terrors is going to come and take you out. "Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him." Now, when you look up this word wicked here, if you just read it in the English, you'll think that, that's Edomites coming against Edomites because they're the wicked. But no, this is why it's important to look up things. When you look up the word wicked, the word there is what? The word aimal. The word for wicked is the word rai. It says aimal, laborer, sufferer, wretched one. So these are the people that are laboring, that you are, pretty much getting over on. because you're not really paying them what they, first and foremost, you're not really paying them what they deserve, and you're not paying them with real money. You're paying them with fake money, which means that they're constantly chasing it. They're like the dog that's constantly chasing his tail. The dog never catches the tail. I mean, I almost got it. Damn, I almost had it that time. You're never gonna catch your tail. You know, and that's how they have the people in the world, and what they call a rat race. You know, which is they just got people going, and, you know, you got me going in circles. Salakia. There was something that had just came to mind, but if it comes back, I'll bring it back. So that's the ones that are laboring in the fields. They're the ones that are gonna come up against this devil, because let's go to Amos chapter 9 and verse 13. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper. Now the plowman is the one that's the worker in the field, the slave. The reaper is the owner. So what does it mean that the plowman is going to overtake the reaper? Meaning that they're going to get revenge on these devils. Why? Because they've been shorthanded. You know, they've been bamboozled. They've been hoodwinked. It says, and the treader of grapes, him that soweth seed, same thing. And the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all hills shall melt. So pretty much this whole system is going to collapse, because the people that are being oppressed are going to start coming against this devil. Hence, you know, the book of James, the 5th chapter. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Right. And this is going to cause what? Going to cause confusion, anarchy. It's going to cause him to set and establish martial law, you know, to try and set order back into place. And these are all things that YAHAWASHI said would be happening prior to him coming. Uproars of the people, famines, wars, rumors of wars, pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places, you know, and we're pretty much heading into that storm right now. You know, you see a lot of individuals falling out from GMS, just GMS in general, resigning, you know, at the very last minute. Show you how scary this thing is. It says, when he is about to fill his belly, meaning when he is about to sit back, kick back, and enjoy the fruits of his demonic labor, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him. What is the fury of the Most High's wrath? First and foremost, the missiles and the lasers from the chariots when YAHAWASHI comes back, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating, right? Because the raining part on him while he is eating are those missiles and the lasers from the chariots pelting down. And those missiles are going to create what's known as the lake of fire in the book of Revelation, which is going to be all of America engulfed in flames. And from a bird's eye view, it's going to look like a lake of fire. That's what the lake of fire is. Now, no place called hell. He shall flee from the iron weapon. What is the iron weapon? The iron weapon is the missiles, or are the missiles. And the bow of steel shall strike him through. Same thing. It is drawn, it cometh out of the body. Now, what is the body? The body is the nuclear silos. When we go to images of nuclear silos, this is a nuclear silo right here. All right. This is the inside with the actual missile in it. This is the iron weapon. This is the silo. Just like a serpent has what? A hole in the ground, and he comes out of his den. Well, this is the serpent. This is the arrow. You know, the iron weapon, and this is the silo where it's coming from. So it says, oops. It says, it is drawn and cometh out of the body, yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Right. The glittering sword cometh out of his gall. All right. That's the glittering sword right there. All right, the glittering sword. Now, if you have, let me see, nuclear missile silo launch. Let's see what comes up. Boom. The glittering spear. Bam. That's the fire that's coming out. This is a photoshopped. You know, this is an actual well. This is photoshopped. That's not, but this is, you get the idea. But we're gonna find a better one, a real one. As soon as I saw it, something didn't look right. That's photoshopped. But here we got a real one. Boom, there we go. This is a real one. See the fire coming out? That's the glittering spear. All right. Terrors are upon him, because this is going to cause terror. Now you have a movie that came out in 1983, The Day After. And when people saw that movie, they were nervous. I watched it when, you know, back then. And I was like a little nervous. Not a little, I was a lot nervous back then when I first saw that. That was a horrible thing, you know, because they put that fear in people's mind of a nuclear war and the effects of a nuclear war, but they really didn't come all the way through. Because once the nuclear war happens, it's not going to be no cities left in America. There's not going to be no trees or no buildings or no cars or no people left in America. It's going to be totally wiped out. So they really did it a disservice, but it did the job of scaring people enough, you know, and people already have that fear, you know, because they keep pushing that fear out there of nuclear war. Nuclear, you know, war will lead to nothing good. Even Einstein said that, you know, he said, Albert Einstein said, I don't know what war, what did he say? He said, I don't know what weapons are going to be used for World War III, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones, which is not going to be any more wars. But the point of the matter is that this war that's coming is going to devastate things so much there ain't going to be nothing left to go to war with, you know. Terrors are upon him, and that brought great fear, and that's why part of it, YAHAWASHI come in with the angels. That's a part of the fear, the chariots, the lasers, and also those missiles. You know, that's why it says men's hearts failing for fear, looking after those things which are coming. So it's going to be devastating, man. It says all darkness shall be hid in a secret place. What is the darkness hid in the secret place? Secret places are the bunkers where they're at. The darkness is what? Their plans that they have in secret. It's going to die there in those bunkers because they're not going to get it off the ground. A fire not blown shall consume him, dealing with the missiles. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. Right? Ain't nobody gonna throw no fire, light of kerosene or nothing like that to set this place ablaze. It's gonna be those missiles and the lasers from the chariots. The heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. Right? The heaven is revealing his iniquity because you have a lot of space debris out there, space trash, that these devils are just throwing. These devils they're fucking demons, man. They're fucking demons. They're no goddamn good. They fucking destroy everything. The fucking devil just throws everything out there in space. It throws shit in the fucking ocean. You know? And the earth shall rise up against him. We see that. The increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. And it's going to be transferred over to the Israelites, to us. This is the portion of a wicked man from the Most High, and the heritage appointed unto him by the Most High, right? Because they've been appointed for this. Let's get 2 precepts, and we could probably end on that. See how the spirit goes, because we're pretty much at the hour mark. We know the point is already made. They're trying to get, control, and they have control because the Lord gave them that control. So Job 16:4, the Lord hath made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil, which is what? The destruction. And Job 9:22, it says, what if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. So they've been tailor-made for this destruction. They've been set up and prepared for the day of evil, the day of destruction. So it says, Job 20:29, this is the portion of a wicked man from the Most High, and the heritage appointed unto them by the Most High. All right. And this is pretty much what it is. So this control that they've been after, which they're finally getting to realize is going to be their demise. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say, Shalom.